scheduled to graduate next month. Her birthday's May the 10th. Sade Sheena is my baby.
We all know the anxiety of a first date. You worry about what to wear. You worry about awkward silences. You worry about whether the other person will look like their photos. You check your breath. You check your hair. You text your friends to let them know where you're going. But you never really think about the worst-case scenario. You never sit across from a charming, normal-looking man at a seafood restaurant and wonder if he has a saw in his basement. You never imagine that the person buying you a drink is currently calculating how he is going to dispose of your body before the sun comes up. For 19-year-old Sade Robinson, a first date wasn't just a disappointment. It was a death sentence. And the man sitting across from her wasn't looking for romance. He was looking for a victim. Sade Robinson was a vibrant, ambitious young woman living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She was a student at Milwaukee Area Technical College studying criminal justice. She was weeks away from graduating. She was the kind of person who lit up a room, obsessed with the color pink, deeply loved by her mother and grandmother, and full of plans for her future. She worked at a pizza place, she had her own apartment, and she was doing everything right. Like millions of people her age, she used dating apps to meet new people. In late March of 2024, she matched with a man named Maxwell Anderson. On paper, Maxwell seemed like a catch. He was 33 years old, older, established, and seemingly successful. He came from a wealthy, well-known family in the Milwaukee area. He was a former bartender who knew everyone in the local service industry. He didn't look like a predator. He looked like a guy you would meet at a craft brewery. They arranged to meet for a first date on April 1st, 2024. Sade was excited. She texted her friends. She put on a nice outfit. She told her co-workers she was going on a date. At 5 p.m., she arrived at the Twisted Fisherman, a popular seafood restaurant in Milwaukee. Security cameras captured the two of them sitting at the bar. They ate dinner, they had drinks. The conversation seemed normal. To anyone watching, it looked like a typical first date going well. After dinner, they decided to keep the night going. They went to a nearby bar called Duke's on Water. Again, surveillance footage shows them sitting together, talking, laughing. There were no red flags. Maxwell wasn't aggressive, he wasn't scary. He was patient. Around 9 p.m., they left the bar. Sade, trusting the man she had just spent 4 hours with, agreed to go back to his house. This is the moment where the stranger danger warnings we hear as children collide with the reality of adult dating. We are told not to go to a stranger's house, but in the world of online dating, going to someone's house is often the norm. Sade likely felt safe. She had her phone. She had her location sharing on. She had just spent the evening with him in public. She drove her car to his home in the quiet suburb of Cudahy. Sade Robinson never walked out of that house. The horror of what happened next didn't come out all at once. It revealed itself in pieces, literally. The next day, Sade didn't show up for her shift at the pizza place. This was immediately alarming. Sade was responsible. She never missed work without calling. Her friends and family began to text her, but the messages went unanswered. Her mother, Sheena Scarborough, knew something was wrong in her gut. She accessed Sade's location using the Life 360 family tracking app. This app would turn out to be the most critical witness in the case. The app showed a terrifying journey. It showed Sade's phone going to Maxwell Anderson's house on the night of April 1st. It stayed there for hours. Then, in the middle of the night, long after the date should have ended, the phone moved. It traveled from Anderson's house to a remote cliffside park called Warnimont Park, overlooking Lake Michigan. It stayed there for a while, in the pitch black of the early morning. Then it moved again, traveling all over the city before finally dying. On April 2nd, the morning after the date, a passerby walking on the beach at Warnemont Park saw something unusual in the sand. It looked like a piece of meat. When police arrived, they confirmed the grim reality. It was a severed human leg. It had been sawed off with surgical precision. The nail polish on the toes was pink, Sade's favorite color. The city of Milwaukee held its breath. A leg had been found, but where was the rest of her? And where was Sade? Police quickly connected the dots. They used the Life 360 data to trace Sade's last known movements directly to Maxwell Anderson's front door. When police swarmed Anderson's home, they found a house of horrors hidden behind a suburban facade. Maxwell Anderson wasn't just a guy with a bad temper, he was a meticulous planner. Inside the home, detectives found blood. They found evidence that a struggle had taken place in the basement. But more disturbingly, they found the tools. While Anderson had tried to clean up, forensic evidence is hard to erase completely. The investigation revealed that Anderson was not the normal guy he pretended to be on the dating app. He was a man with a dark history and a reputation in the Milwaukee underground scene for erratic and aggressive behavior. But on the app, he had worn a mask of sanity perfectly. Surveillance footage from a bus near the park that night captured a man matching Anderson's description walking away from a car. Sade's car. Then, the pieces of Sade's car began to appear. Her Honda Civic was found days later, completely torched. It had been set on fire in a desperate attempt to destroy DNA evidence. But the most heartbreaking discoveries were washing up on the shores of Lake Michigan. Over the next few weeks, body parts continued to be found along the coastline. An arm, a torso. Each discovery was a fresh trauma for Sade's mother, who had to receive the news that her daughter wasn't just murdered, but discarded like trash. Maxwell Anderson was arrested and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and arson. The prosecution's case was built on the digital footprint. The Life 360 data placed Sade at his house. The GPS data from his own phone placed him at the park where the leg was found. The surveillance video placed them together at the restaurant. But the question remained: why? Why did a 33-year-old man take a 19-year-old girl on a date, buy her dinner, laugh with her, and then butcher her? There was no robbery. There was no argument. This wasn't a crime of passion. It appeared to be a crime of predation. Prosecutors argued that Anderson hunted her. He picked her out, charmed her, and lured her into his trap. The first date was simply the hunting method. The community reaction was explosive. The Pink Out movement began. Thousands of people in Milwaukee started wearing pink to honor Sade. Her mother became a fierce advocate, appearing on news stations, demanding justice, and refusing to let her daughter be remembered as just a victim. She wanted the world to know Sade as the bright, ambitious student she was. This case struck a nerve because it dismantled the safety illusion of modern dating. We tell women to meet in public first. Sade did that, we tell women to share your location. Sade did that, we tell women to drive your own car. Sade did that, she followed every single safety rule in the book. And it didn't save her, because if a predator is patient enough and charming enough, the rules don't matter. The trial and the legal proceedings against Anderson revealed a man who thought he was smarter than the system. He thought that by burning the car and scattering the remains in a massive lake, he could erase the crime. He didn't count on the technology in Sade's pocket. He didn't count on the Life 360 app tracking his every move as he disposed of her body. Sade Robinson went looking for love, or at least a fun evening. Instead, she walked into a trap set by a man who viewed her not as a person, but as a project. This case serves as a terrifying reminder that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a guy with a nice smile ordering the calamari. It looks like a normal house in a normal neighborhood. Sade's legacy is now one of awareness. Her story has forced a conversation about the vetting process on dating apps and the inherent dangers women face simply by trying to exist in the dating world. What do you think? Is there anything dating apps can do to prevent predators like Maxwell Anderson from using their platforms? Or is the risk always going to be there? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story of a woman betrayed by a man she trusted makes you angry, you need to hear the story of Christina Spakutsa. She wasn't on a date. She was just doing her job as an Uber driver when a passenger she trusted to be normal turned out to be a killer. The dashcam footage of her final moments is heartbreaking. Click the video on your screen right now to see the full story.